are you?
Well,
Good.
welcome to Amsterdam. How are
Thank
you
you.
liking it so far?
So far, the very little I've seen, I like very much.
Yeah, and it's 50 minutes on a plane.
Okay, so
no excuse.
well, you're here now. That's what
Exactly.
counts. Okay, so let's start off by talking about Highlander. Highlander is still a cult classic till this day. Did you expect this when you first read the script?
No. What attracted me to the story was the romantic side of immortality before the action side of the movie. You accept a movie because you like the story, you like the script. You don't think about the fact that it could be successful or becoming a cult movie. You just do it, enjoy doing it, and the rest is not up to you, it's up to you, to the audience. So Highlander is still today a very active movie. I've got fans from 3 different generations. Got fans who are like 12, 15 years old today. Some were like 30 to 45, then 60. So it's interesting because I think the movie is still very actual. On a vision level and on a story level.
And that's why you think it's still so popular today?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so it's still popular today, but there's been talks about a reboot for years and years. Do you think it's ever gonna happen?
Sorry. It's still active. I don't know if it's going to happen or not. I'm not in the studio, inside the studio's informations, but I know that it's still active. So it could happen, definitely. They have a director, they're working on a story, so the signs are all green for Highlander to happen.
And if it happens, do you think you'd want to make a small cameo in it?
Well, I think as a wink to the audience, it would be nice. We'll see. As I said, they're still in the writing stage, so it's pretty far from pre-production and production. But if they offer me something, I'll do it, yes.
And aside from Connor McLeod in Highlander, you also play Lord Raiden in Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
How is it to be 2 of those iconic characters?
It was fun. It's fun. What I like the most about Mortal Kombat Raiden is that for the first time in an action movie, I didn't have to train because the guy could kill people with his power, the god of thunder and lightning. So the only effort I had to do was to look at people.
And was Highlander physically challenging in that way?
Yes. All the fights were, as a result, 16 weeks of training for the whole movie, each time for the 4 movies. So, yeah, it's a lot of training.
Very heavy training
Yeah,
as well.
which makes sense. You're battling with steel swords.
And for Mortal Kombat, you didn't have to train, but did you play the game before the movie came out?
Yes, absolutely. I was a big fan of the game. Big fan.
Okay, thank you. I think the audience has a lot of questions, so just raise your hands. Yeah, I see 2 gentlemen right here.
Hello, Mr. Lambert. I was just wondering, what was your working relationship with Sean Connery on Highlander, and did he give you some tips on the Scottish accent?
So working with Sean was great. I mean, he's a great actor. We all know that, but he's a great human being. He's a pure gentleman. He is extremely generous as an actor. He's just a pleasure to be around. He gave me a few tips in the scenes we had together. Not tips, but just correcting me from time to time. Being a Scotsman, he wanted to, he had to, and it was great to have a voice coach as Sean Connery.
I had another question from the gentleman right next to him.
This is a little the same question. As a young actor in 1985, what did you feel about playing with such a legend as Sean Connery?
You know, what matters to me is the human quality of the person. I'm not looking at them as big and great actors. I'm looking at the human being. And Sean Connery is a great human being. That's all that matters to me.
We have more questions in the back. The lady right there.
Hello. I want to know what movie did you like most? Which one would you play?
It's a difficult question because I have to tell you that I just love making movies. So I enjoyed all of them. I'm still enjoying it. I don't have a favorite movie. I would say that the movie that counted the more was Greystoke, because it was the first big movie that I've made. So it was the start of something. He was like 6'3", very muscular, very heavy, and I was much thinner than him. And I thought, if you're not ready, he's gonna kill you, for real. So, but again, a great guy, great actor, and understanding that it's not the power of the blow that matters, is what you put behind it. So you can try to make it as strong as possible. It's a matter of how you sell it that counts.
I have a question right here in front of the lady.
Hello, Mr. Lambert.
Hello.
In how many languages can you say "Es kann nur einen geben"? And would you say
In
it
how
for
many
us?
languages can I say there can be only one? In French and in English.
Would you do that?
En français,
Oui.
il ne peut en rester qu'un.
Et anglais?
There can be only one.
Very good.
Yeah, I think the gentleman and the lady in the front.
Hello, Mr. Lambert.
Hello.
I have a question. It's kind of a two-part question because I was wondering what inspired you to become an actor, and what advice would you give other people who want to go into the industry?
What was the second question?
Second question was, what advice would you give other people who want to go into the industry?
So I always wanted to be an actor since I was 12 years old. I did a play with members of my family, and I thought that the applause at the end were nice. That finally maybe maybe some people were recognizing something in me, that I was doing something good. So I wanted to have that feeling again. So I decided to become an actor. Also some movies influences. I loved the movie. I wanted to be a movie actor, not a stage actor. Movies were, I was fascinated by movies. What advice? Passion. Just passion. Put 1,000% of yourself in acting school, or of course as a professional in a movie or on stage, but it's coming from you. I don't think you learn to be an actor. You are an actor within yourself. You have to practice, you have to improve, you have to get better, but it's in you from the start, so you feel it. It's the ability of becoming somebody else. You switch on and off between action, cut, you're not yourself, you become a character. Thank you.
Thank you. The lady in front also had a question.
Yes, hi.
Hi.
Recently you've played in Sobibor. What
Yeah.
must have been difficult for you to play that role? Can you tell us something about that?
It was, that's the reason I did that movie, because it was extremely difficult to be dressed as a Nazi. But it helped my character, because it's the first time that I was upset, not obsessed, upset about a character, about a costume, about what was happening in this concentration camp. So it was very helpful for the character. It was very disturbing for me.
Yeah.
But that's the reason I did that movie.
You did a good job.
On top of it, it's an interesting character because he's double. He's really torn apart in between the Jews and the Germans. And he's losing it.
Yeah.
Because he was meant to marry a Jewish girl, and his father forbade him and sent him to the army. So he became a Nazi against his will.
Yeah.
So an interesting character.
Thank you.
Thank
Okay, I
you.
think we have time for 2 more questions about. I have one
Okay.
right there for the gentleman.
Hello.
Hello.
There's an article online that says you are unable to wear contacts and therefore you had to do some scenes almost completely blind, and that causes some accidents. Can you tell us about that something?
The actors facing me in action movies never had accidents. I did. It's true. I'm kind of blind, but I'm allergic to contact lenses. So that's why in movies like Highlander or any action movies, I have to work more, because to not hurt people, to not hurt myself, or at least not to try not to hurt myself. And so I have to rehearse and rehearse. The combat, that's it mostly, it was scaring. The actors facing me was saying, oh, he's blind, he's gonna hit me with the sword not knowing what he's doing. So it never happened because of the rehearsals. And the second question? No.
I don't think there was.
Okay.
I thought that in English, you didn't speak a lot of English before Highlander. How was it to learn English?
It was
with drum set?
No, it wasn't Highlander. It was Greystoke.
Greystoke.
But I had 6 months of training before I started to shoot. So I became fluent in English while I was training in London. I just became fluent. And after that, I worked on different accents.
I have the gentleman here in the white shirt.
Hello, Sir Lambert.
Hello.
I have a question. The movie The Hunted, the scenes in the train are very impressive. Can you tell more about that? Did you do much self or your stunt double?
If I had a stunt double?
Yeah, in The Hunted. Or did you do the scenes in the train by yourself or most?
No, I did all the fights by myself. The train sequence was probably one of the longest action scenes I ever done. We shot 3 weeks on that train, but I did everything myself. Yeah.
Okay,
Lots of training too.
There's one last question there in the back.
Hello.
Hello.
I would like to ask you about the following. Whenever you work with Russell Mulcahy, it's a kind of magic. You did 2 Highlanders, there was a Resurrection, very good movie. Will you do another movie with Russell Mulcahy, and when?
We are talking with Russell as we speak to try to do another movie together, because I think he's one of the most imaginative and visionary director that I've ever seen. He's incredible. Highlander is still incredibly actual because of his vision. So, and I love to work with him. Love it. Great guy.
Do you have any other interesting new projects in the future that you can talk about?
Sorry. I'm going to start shooting a French movie that we're going to shoot in Tunisia, which is a period piece happening during the First World War. After that, I'm doing an American picture in November, December, that we're going to shoot in London and in Spain. And I'm going to do a third movie with Claude Lelouch in February. And for now, that's it.
All over the world. I'm afraid we've run out of time, but he will be right there signing, so you can ask your questions there. And don't forget about the photo shoot and ask your questions there. Can I get a big round of applause for Christopher Lambert?
Thank you. Merci. Thank you. Take care.